Mani recounts his travels. Further, it happened one time while our master Mani, our light enlightener, was staying in the city of Ctesiphon. Shapur, the king, inquired after and summoned him. Our master stood up and went to Shapur the king. Afterwards he returned and came back to his congregation. When he had been a short while sitting down, before delay elapsed, King Shapur inquired after him another time. He called for him. Again, Mani returned. He retraced and went to King Shapur. He spoke with him and proclaimed to him the word of God. Again he returned and came to the congregation. Also, a third occasion, King Shapur inquired after and called for him, and he returned to him once more. Then one of his disciples made retort, or aids by name, the son of Kapilas. He says to our enlightener, "Please, our master Mani, give to us 2 manis resembling you, passing for you, good, peaceful, and compassionate. Disciples in righteousness like you, 1 Mani will remain with us as you, and the other go to King Shapur, his mind at ease, and proclaiming it to him." When our enlightener heard these words from that disciple, he shook his head. He says to him, "Now behold, I, a single Mani, came to the world to proclaim in it the word of God, and do therein the good will that had been entrusted to me. Then look, I, 1 Mani alone, have not been permitted to speak freely in the world, that I find room to fulfill the good will that has been entrusted to me. Yet, I have done the will of the mystery, which I preach in the living truth. For the world loves the darkness, but it hates the light, because its works are evil. Still, I have traveled so that I could do the will of the light, and spread the truth far and wide, in accord with what they entrusted to me. And, behold, the world bears down upon me with its sects. They give me no place to preach therein, and besides I am a single Mani. I came to the world, and they have not given me time to preach according to my will. They have not accepted me. On the other hand, if we do as you have spoken to us, what might we do then? How were? Rather, this, to you, and recount it to you. At the time when I sailed the sea in the ship, I found it necessary, the life that is with me in the world, I stirred the whole land of India, all the people who dwell in it, all of them to me, so that they might bear 2 to 3 times, in their land according to their heart, and the wise man, they, set them against me. At that moment I ceased finding light, I ceased speaking freely with the voice that is of truth, which is entrusted to me. Now behold, in India, it may act against me in its, and accept the greater ones and the counselors and the satraps and the governors who are found I was difficult for it, it stirred not, because they belong to it, from all the sinners, to me. I was more difficult for it than all these. Did not accept me, and it persisted to it. For the world loves the darkness, but it hates the light, because its works are evil. I crossed the seas another time. I took India. I went up to the land of Persia. I leapt from the sea and went, the land of Persia and its cities, in this living truth that is with me. To the light of, proclaim, the powers and the authorities, and the holders of authority, enlightener, in the land of Persia, body, because of this truth that I proclaimed, sitting in their midst, to one another. See now, in their land, to me the power. The Father, living, all occasions. The one who, to it, in the land, how strong is it? The land, tolerates the kings and accepts the satraps and the governors who are the. It stirred among them, it was not defeated in their midst, it was not able to accept the truth that I proclaimed there. It did not. I came out from the land of Persia. I went up to Messene, the city that, in this truth that is in me, I proclaim this knowledge, I separated the light from the darkness and discriminated life from death, what is good from what is evil, the righteous person from the sinner. I proclaimed the path of life and the commandments, yet, when they had heard the voice of truth and life, the ruling power and the swarm of demons, and the race of mankind, under wickedness and hatred, they did not allow me, nor did they permit me to preach the truth in tranquility, the way that it is. See, for they tolerate the kings, they accept, and the Caesars and the satraps and the governors who are found among them. Yet, the truth that I proclaimed among them, they did not accept it, and they did not listen to the voice of life that I cried out among them. Again, from that place I came to the land of Babylon, the city of the Assyrians, and walked in it. I went into the other cities, and spoke in this truth of the life that is with me. I proclaimed the word of truth and life. With the voice of the proclamation I separated the light from the darkness there, what is good from what is evil, the powers who are master over, their envy to the heart of the kings and the leaders there. They and the sects of that place, they were set against me. Even as you yourselves see, they have waged some great wars with me. The lawless judges took me, they watched. They and their rulers and their leaders took me in the midst of their land. If as, to me the protection of the Father, who does not help the lawless. Yet he helps me at all times against his enemy. Still, they would not permit me in Babylon a single day to journey in their land. See now, how great is the land of the Assyrians. It is able to tolerate the kings and accept the epochs and the generals and the Caesars and the governors, in it. It did not stir, nor was it defeated before them, but, on the other hand, to me, it stirred and was disquieted, it waged against me a multitude of struggles. Therefore, I left behind me the Assyrians. I went to the land of the Medes and Parthians. At that place I played the harp of wisdom, I spoke in this living truth that is with me. The whole land of the Medes and the Parthians stirred, it shook, to accept the hope of the life that I proclaimed. Yet see, how great is the land of the Medes and the Parthians. Many cities are found there. It was able to accept the kings and the leaders who were there, but, on the other hand, it was not able to accept the power of my truth. It stirred, it all shook just as. Then the apostle speaks to the disciple. Indeed I, a single Mani, came to the world. All the cities of the world stirred, they shook. The world did not wish to accept me, unless I humbled its rebelliousness. I have subdued its powers and brought all that were there. I have planted in it, I have sown this seed of life. I chose a few from among the multitude. I, one Mani alone, came to the world, and all the powers of the world stirred. A turmoil arose before me. And thus, if 2 Manis had come to the world, what place would be able to tolerate them, or what land would be able to accept them? I, a single Mani, did come, and walking on tiptoes, no place was found for me wherein I could stand fast, on the fullness of my feet, and walk on the earth like everyone, and do there. All of you, pray to God that he might, feed henceforth, this single Mani, who is among you on that day, that will happen. He might do the will of the living ones in the Holy Church. However, blessed are you if you make yourselves strong in this truth that I have given to you, so that you may be confirmed in it, in the life which continues forever and ever. Then, when that disciple had heard these things, he says to the apostle, Blessed am I, my master. I, and all my other brothers who hear these great things from you, we know that we all are among the living. And we are alive by your advent to us. We have found the truth more than all people who are in the world. Who of us will be able fully to repay you for the goodness that you have done us, our Father? Only the Father who sent you is sufficient fully to repay you for this toil. For the recompense that you desire of him, the God who has sent you, is this: every prayer you entreat of the Father, may he grant you your prayer and your consolation.